Good morning. Good to be here with you, beautiful Thursday morning. It's an exciting day, apparently. It's a day that we're likely to be kept wherever we are across Lagos. Of course, the month of December is also running quite fast, and so a lot of people are going to be wondering, oh my God, I've not done this for my kids, I've not done the Christmas shopping, oh, there's no food at home again. A lot of people are going to be wondering about a lot of things, but I always say, when you wake up and it's a new day, you definitely must get ready to face that day squarely and get the best, the very best, the ultimate best out of the day. My name is Tomisin, and it's the Bumper Breakfast Thursday edition. And on this Thursday edition, we'll quickly take a look at the stories in the papers this morning before we hit the ground running. We've been talking about the educational sector for quite a while, but this morning I have joining me on the Bumper Breakfast for the first time, Jonathan Nwoke, who is a school owner and a public affairs analyst. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. And of course, Mr. Akin Fatunke is back in town. Mr. Fatunke, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Fatunke is a regular on the Bumper Breakfast, and quite a number of people say, where is that
Good morning,
man?
Nigeria.
Mr. Fatunke is an accountant by profession, and he is a public affairs analyst as well. I like to call him an elder state man. I mean, when you cross a certain age, we just put the elder there, and then we'll point in that direction and say they are the ones that enjoyed the best of Nigeria. We're just hoping that the rest of us coming behind, our children, will enjoy a little of that best they enjoyed. Let me take a look at the papers this morning. Mr. Vasquez is going to respond to that. I trust him. He's just going to be waiting for me. The Nation newspaper is where I want to begin from this morning, and they're talking about Army Chief says repentant Boko Haram fighters not sincere. Finally, somebody seems to be speaking the language that Nigerians have been speaking for a while, and it happens to be coming from the theater of war. Riders like ECOWAS worried over the spread of terrorism, terrorist bandits using radio frequency spectrum illegally, and the anti-terror battle of the federal government may suffer a setback. Now, the army has raised the alarm that many repentant Boko Haram terrorists, fighters, are sliding and subverting the war against the insurgents and bandits. The theater commander of Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, disclosed that the repentant sect members who have surrendered to troops have an ulterior motive. We've said it, people have said it, analysts have said it, that there is nothing like they are repentant Boko Haram terrorists. Jonathan, what do you think?
Yeah, Boko Haram terrorists have been a kind of problem to the security issues in Nigeria. I've not been one of those that can say that we are supportive of the kind of largesse that we're getting from the federal government in terms of a way of encouraging them to put down arms. Because most of the times I know your enemy that has a reason or has a motive or a kind of mission to accomplish, then coming to you to say that he is now your friend, I believe that he can't be sincere. So I've never been part of those that are supportive of Boko Haram being given that kind of, what do I call it, recognition we give to them as repentant Boko Harams. Because there is nothing repentant about them, because they have a motive, and the motive is to fight the Nigerian nation. And since they are fighting Nigerian nation, they have those that are paying their services, those that are calling the shots for them. So definitely they have a hidden agenda. There is nothing repentant about them. So all they are doing is just to come and deceive us and carry out their sinister motive against the Nigerian nation. So I don't see anything repentant about them as far as the security issue in Nigeria is concerned, because right from day one, they have a clear-cut intent, that is to see that they destabilize the nation. And that what is repentant about them? What is that thing that will encourage them to be repentant, not to continue with that kind of mayhem that has been unleashed on the Nigerian nation? I don't see anything as being as a thing that will make them to be repentant. All they are doing is just to come and deceive Nigerian security, making them believe that they are friends. And at the end of the day, they hit from behind. So to me, there is nothing repentant about them. They don't have any good intent as far as Nigerian nation is concerned.
Mr. Fatunke, I remember that we've had this conversation time and time again. Have you ever heard it across the world that terrorists lay down arms and they were reintegrated into society? Which country in the world has done that before?
Oh well. The principle of detente is such that when two nations are fighting, and then of course you capture what you call enemies from the territories, the United Nations Charter delineates how such prisoners of war are treated. So a war is declared, you are fighting war, and then eventually, over and above even what we had in our Biafran situation, the Nigerian situation is formless. And so, to answer your question directly, I have not read, you have to pardon my limited knowledge in that area, of any nation on the surface of the earth, even when things were banal, even when we were not having clothes, and people were jumping from trees to trees, in prehistoric times, that has behaved the way Nigeria has behaved. I do not know of any country, of any sane country, that has behaved the way we have behaved. We are not just lawless, we are rudderless, we are not leading by example. We are a bunch of people who just come on stage, like Shakespeare would say, puff a lot and are seen no more. Like my brother Jonathan has said, those who say they are ruling us are clueless. They are confused, and it's obvious, and you can see the element of confusion in saying bandits are not terrorists, terrorists are bandits, and all that kind of stuff. So ab initio, they are confused, and so they've been placed with the mandate to now then deal with the issues at hand. Yes, they met a terrible situation and they made it worse. Somebody from a locality got up, killed parents, killed friends, killed pregnant women, killed children. They also, then people fled. Over years, nothing has happened. He believes that is an industry, which, by the way, we must say, Nigeria is one of those countries in the world where kidnapping and mayhem is now an industry that pays. And so government is fueling that by saying such people are now repentant. They have no clue or an idea of how to treat them. It's only when you don't want to treat people with, arm's length. Maybe it's because your son or your daughter or your friend, you are not prepared to really deal with full
decisively with
and the person now says he's repented, not once, not two times. Repented. So they go back to their locality, and then one of the first few things they do is, "Oh, Daddy, Mommy, you are the one that went to report me," killed them.
Now let me go to
you
the
take that down back now, and then you say they are repented. You give them money.
And that's where I'm going. Now,
give them money,
the funds and the resources that we have spent on this entire rehabilitation process is preposterous.
Yes.
Professor Babagana Zulum, the governor of Borno State, I remember kept hammering and complaining and screaming for everyone to hear that the idea of saying that these guys have repented is not acceptable. He mentions the fact that many of them, in fact, he was totally on the other side of the government. And I remember he was attacked a couple of times. When his community, when he was about to reintegrate some parts of some IDP back into the community, the federal government was also saying they want to reintegrate Boko Haram insurgents. And I remember that there was a North East Development Commission.
Yeah.
And then there was about 10 million naira that was earmarked for that. And then we heard the fact that some of these repentant Boko Haram terrorists, after they had rehabilitated them, they were going to give them accommodation, they were going to buy them generators and give them clippers, and give them a means of livelihood, as a matter of fact.
Where millions and millions that are doing legitimate business cannot get jobs, are left to wallow. These people down there are recycled back to come and kill them. I think it is horrendous. The
amount of money that we have spent on this entire process.
We are quoting amounts spent that you know. There are so many other that
unknown
that are leaking. They are leaking like a basket. They know it, we know it, not accounted for. Are you going to be looking at IDP and how decrepit the Nigerian situation is? This same Nigeria that at one point in time we had a Professor Adeoye Lambo, this same Nigeria that we had from the civil service, somebody like Simeon Adebo, and now we are now being musketeered around by jesters and comedians, making all of us to cover our eyes in shame. It's most unfortunate, I dare say.
Very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
All right, I want to take a look at the banner headline of the Nigerian Tribune. It talks about finance bill, no tin, no bank account, as Buhari goes tough on tax laws. The finance bill 2021, according to the Nation newspaper, says tips FRS as a sole tax collector. Twitter, Facebook, others to pay taxes. Tin compulsory to open and operate bank account. That's there as Buhari goes off the bill scales first and second reading in the Senate. Now, if we delve a little bit into that story on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune, there may be stringent rules in the operation of bank accounts by Nigerians effective from next year, as no tin, no opening of bank accounts. Now, the President of the Senate has, during plenary, informed his colleagues about the receipt of a letter from President Muhammadu Buhari seeking the approval of the Senate for the passage of the bill into law. Banks will be required to request for tin before opening bank accounts for individuals, while existing account holders must provide a tin to continue operating their accounts. Now, on the value added tax, the bill proposed a fine of 50,000 naira at first instance for late filing of returns and for default. Penalty for VAT, late filing of returns increased from 50,000 for the first month and 25,000 for subsequent months of failure. I just look at all of this and I'm just wondering. There is the cherry news for pensioners. This proposed bill also seeks to remove the tax exemption on withdrawals from pension schemes except the prescribed condition are met. Child relief 2,500 per child, up to a minimum of 4, and dependent relief 2,000 per dependent for a maximum of 2 are to be deleted from the bill as well. Noting no bank account. You are an accountant. What do you think?
I'm an accountant and I'm a common man, and I think not just common, I think I have some semblance of common sense. I am not sure that, okay, first of all, let's put it this way. No tin, no bank account. That has been in operations. The problem is in enforcement. In all what Mr. President is putting across to the Senate, the current Senate President, who I know close to about 10, 15 years ago, we were on the same subject. 10, 15 years ago, I was a practitioner. We were summoned, this should happen, we should have these reforms and all that kind of thing. Up till now, not much has happened. All this whitewashing, putting bills that you know you'll not be able to enforce. This bill, there is absolutely nothing that is coming out of it that is not in some other form of bills and legislation. We know them. Who is enforcing? Who has the capacity to enforce? And like I always say, you cannot manage what you do not measure. Where are you going? So they are going to look at your face now, Tomisin.
Yes. And
then somebody will now come looking for you, knock your door. And somebody just came to knock my door lately and said, I've not been paying my taxes. I'm a retired person. What tax am I going to be paying? So it tells you from the base, these people just don't even, they just know. Oh, and they think you look so.
Retirees are supposed to pay taxes.
And I'm a pensioner. And then somebody looks at you and say, look, your lipsticks and stuff like that is not from Nigeria, maybe it's whatever it is, you must be paying tax. I think on a very serious note, Mr. President is putting that bill across. We practitioners and majority of Nigerians know that they will not be able to enforce, so as not to look like we are not doing a few things. And I heard you mentioned in that bill talking about that Twitter was going to pay. This has been on
Facebook, Twitter will pay taxes.
Point is the CAMA, the Companies Incomes and Act, prescribed that taxes should be paid. But also within the tax law itself came out and said certain people should not, because of certain things we needed to attract investment. I am not against those entities to attract them to Nigeria, because they are making a lot of money from Nigeria. I've said this so many times ago, but there is a process to it. Example is the Twitter issue. Just because we are not managing well, and then because somebody coughed, and then you deprived a whole generation of people on account of Twitter, and we are still not at the end of it yet, where millions upon millions would have been lost. My point is, the laws are there. We know what to do. Everyone know how to go about some of these things. What is the tax base? How many people are in the tax net? How many people are out of the tax net? That we should all be looking at our nets to attract more taxes. That if you don't, late filing is going to, it's always been there.
The question is,
what is new now?
How then do we tend to get people to start registering for TIN? We have a BVN.
We have a BVN, we have TIN. TIN has been there. It's not a new policy. Probably what the government is trying to do is to give that policy a teeth, or to give it a kind of legal backing. Before you open an account in any of the banks I know, you must present your TIN.
That's a corporate account.
That's corporate account. You must present your TIN. What they are trying to do, maybe to make it compulsory for every account holder, every individual. Well, I'm not against that policy, but the truth is this: one thing is to make a policy, another thing is the implementation of that policy, because our government, they are fond of making policies that they cannot implement, as my brother just said. It has been their problem. It's not about making of policies. What are those things you are going to put in place for the policies they are making to be adequately implemented? These are the things we should look at. What are the parameters for other things, for people to be encouraged to ensure that they comply? Because it's not, we are asking, because the intent is for citizens to pay tax. That is the main intent. So there is nothing wrong in people paying taxes. But the question is,
there is nothing wrong in people paying taxes, but see, this is the whole.
Yes.
If you make a lot of tax from here, it's better than when you make a lot of tax from here, if you understand.
I do.
So we actually need to expand that tax base. But you see, I'm afraid I'm going to use words here. In academics, you talk about when you are lazy and you cannot think out of the box. It's exactly what my country is doing. Looking at the policy side or the physical side, and taking a decision that, even within this, there are a lot of leakages. I thought we should first of all aspire to that, so as to be able to get a lot more. And then they will quickly tell you, maybe tomorrow or next tomorrow, you are going to hear, yes, we are doing this because, our tax to GDP ratio in Nigeria is 6%. It's the lowest in Sub-Saharan Africa. But where you have taxes over and above that, citizens don't board they don't get to board their boreholes, they don't construct their streets, they don't look for their security. Government has failed in all material particular in all this. And yet, the very few I'm not saying you should not be taxed, but where has technology gone? This is now the time for us to be serious and creatively Don't sit down wearing agbada and wearing babariga, and then sending people after the likes of Tomisin because she dresses well. She dresses well, and so she should be paying taxes. That is exactly what I see Nigeria doing. Oh, I think Jonathan. Your name is Jonathan.
Yes.
Oh, you must be related to the good Lord Jonathan. So you should be paying kind of tax. Such a lazy.
Because your name
a lazy way of going about it. Until governance becomes a very serious issue, until we put square pegs in square holes, we'll just continue to spiral.
And to avoid leakages of the ones that people are paying, because people are paying taxes. The truth of the matter is, the ones being paid, how honest, how sincere are those people that are vested with such powers for
Thank you very much. That's the next thing. So
you are looking.
That is
the I'm not concerned about.
You've gotten 20 kobo.
Yes.
Out of 100 naira.
Yes.
That 20 kobo. We are not seeing. Yeah, it
leakages here and there.
So how are we administering the little that we've gotten to buy private jets, to fund our medical tourism to India and London if you have a headache, to now decide that yes, Tomisin's son is going to get married, and so Jonathan and myself will now go and have to find a way to hire,
new jets,
Greyhound buses
and jets.
We can't afford jets. Greyhound buses, and then we park it in front of Tomisin's house, and then Tomisin will now come and say, "I'm a big man." It's a farce.
Very big farce.
It's a farce.
You see, interestingly, on the front page of the papers this morning, there are so many interesting stories that I'd like us to look at. But this one, we started talking about it before we came on air. And the front page of the Nation newspaper, just above the nameplate, says why 1 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine expired. That one is coming from the Minister of Health, Dr. Sage Hanere, explaining to us exactly why those 1 million doses expired. But on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, he said our story expired 1 million COVID vaccine, our story by the federal government. Interestingly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, the effect of the expiration of 1 million doses of COVID-19 is below the nameplate, and it says federal government risk vaccine donation reduction as 1 million doses expires. Now, let's talk about the reason it expired. It was in the news yesterday. The federal government has said it has utilized most of the over 10 million short shelf life doses of COVID-19 before the expiration in good time. Now, it disclosed that the exercise saved the government 16.4 billion naira or more than $40 million in foreign exchange, adding the vaccines that expired had been withdrawn and will be destroyed accordingly by NAFDAC. Now, the attention of the federal government, according to the statement by the Minister of Health, the attention of the federal government has been drawn to the reports circulating in the media to the effect that some COVID-19 vaccines had expired. Nigeria has of late enjoyed the generosity of several, mainly European countries, who has offered us doses of COVID-19 vaccines out of their stockpiles free of charge through COVAX or AVAD. Now, these donations are always acknowledged and thankfully received. However, some of them had residual shelf lives of only a few months and left us very short time, just some weeks, to use them. After deduction of time to transport, clear distribution and deliver to users, if such vaccines arrive back to back or many, logistic bottlenecks occasionally arise. They appreciate the kind gesture of donors, but also communicated the challenge of short shelf life, whereupon some manufacturers offer to extend the shelf life after the fact by 3 months. A practice that, though accepted by experts, is declined by the federal government because it is not accommodated in our own standards. Now, Nigeria does not dispense vaccines with a validity extended beyond labeled expiry date. We continue to adhere to our rigorous standards. Donation of surplus COVID-19 vaccines with expiration shelf life to developing countries has been a matter of international discussion. Now, they've been giving us COVID-19 vaccines. Apparently, some of them came with almost expiring shelf life.
What I have to say in that is this: the explanation given to us by the honorable Minister for Health. He said the shelf life of those drugs is very short.
Yes.
Yes,
before they were given.
Before they were given.
And close to
And,
expiry.
and close to expiry dates of those drugs.
Before they even arrived.
Why do we collect? That's the question. Common sense demands that if you are given something that you will not make use of, or you know that you don't have time, enough time for you to use that thing, you don't need to collect. But in most cases, you see, Nigeria, Nigeria is just, we have that kind of character of always being seen in the world from the wrong side of it. Because a country that is so impoverished, a country that is battling with so many things, you are giving, because what they will create before the international community, the impression is that Nigerians are not making use of the drugs given to them, and automatically is going to affect the further donations we can get from other donor countries. But our leaders or those in charge of this knew that the ones that are to be given to them have short shelf life, and they know the bottlenecks, and they did not make any effort to ensure that those bottlenecks are cleared, so that we have express delivery of those things and administration of those drugs to the end users, which are the masses.
Well, let me ask the question here. The end users, the masses that you just mentioned.
Yes.
They are not even going to collect the vaccine. Majority of them are not.
Yes, and I'm coming to that. The apprehension, because they have, we have heard a lot, we've read a lot about this COVID-19, both for and against. A lot of people are afraid to take the shots because a lot of stories, have been, speculated. So people are afraid, and secondly, the insincerity of our government. I'm sorry to use this word, insincerity. The government have not been sincere. They have not been making the citizens to have faith in them. Are you getting me? To douse the fear of the masses. They have not been courageous enough to carry the masses along and to make them to understand the truth. One thing with the government is that they tell you one thing today, and tomorrow you will see that what they have told you today, they are changing. They make a policy today. Tomorrow, there is what we call policy somersault. They will change it over. So when you see all these things and the citizens are seeing the insincerity on the government part, you see, whenever they tell them to do something, they will be afraid of doing that thing. So a lot of people are not, interested in taking the drugs because they don't want to die. And you see a lot of, the things they circulate in the social media. People taking the drugs, having some side effects and all that, people dying and all that. Government should do more. If those things are not correct, government should do more to let the people know that these things or the rumors that are being speculated are not true. And they should carry the people along and make them to be. But the fact is that our government, they are playing, most of the time, that they like doing things on their own. Without looking into
what is missing is trust.
Trust. That's the word, trust.
And I like to say, I told Tomisin that I think I have some modicum of common sense, and this is simple common sense. We have just gone on red flag. Part of the reason why UK, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Israel is put on red flag is for reasons as this. Let me tell you, sane clients know us, and they know our proclivity for corruption. Jonathan said, you knew this was going to, why did you take it? Why did you not think of the logistics? I tell you, if not that people are shouting, that thing is going to recirculate back into the system.
Yes.
The Western world, they know it. They know there are some of the things that are going on. What you expect from a reasonable father, or a reasonable head, or a reasonable parent is, this is short, I can't use it. Even if I got it.
Yes.
There are so many other countries within the African sub-region. After all, Africa has been Nigeria's focal point.
Yes.
Make use of it to those. That's number one. Then number two is the fact that, yes, Jonathan, I think it's easy, and I think I agree with you that we are pointing that figure at government. The government and the people, jesters and comedians, People wanted to do government in, government wanted to do people in. The idea might be in some other societies, even though it has come, talk to your people. In spite of conspiracy theories, go to the grassroots, put incentives in there, and people will trust you, but nobody trusts these people. Nobody trusts the government. So on top of that lack of mistrust, project management tells you that, hey, wait a minute, look at your SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Know that those threats are heavy in between. And I will go back to your point. If you are going to give me, pardon my word here, S-H-I-T, if you're going to give me shit, I can take the shit, but sometimes I take it with some kind of dignity.
Yes.
I can always point back at you and say, look, what exactly is it that you are doing? At the end of the day, buck stops here. Why can't we be self-reliant? Why can't we ourselves? You saw Professor Tomisin crying.
Medical solution.
Crying. Some of the best virologists we have
Right here.
on the surface of the earth crying, and yet people are just behaving as if nothing is.
After all, the Chinese vaccine may not be acceptable
Yeah.
for other countries, apart from the UAE used it, but they are administering it to their people. So if we develop something that we think will work for Nigerians, and we develop a drug or something, Nigerians will use it because it's homegrown.
That's why I tell
we are
you,
not
I'm
looking
missing Professor
inward.
Adeoye Lambo. At one point in time in this country, they were coming to us, but now, I don't know.
We'll take a break from this conversation and move straight into the reports from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Apparently, some countries have been shutting down flights against Nigeria. The UK was even bold enough to say if you come into our country, you have to pay £2,285 pounds for 10 days of quarantine if you want to come in at all costs. But other than that, just stay in Nigeria, don't bother coming. Canada as well have gone a step further. But you see, we'll look at all of this vis-a-vis the investment in Nigeria. How has the Omicron variant affected investment, and how has it affected sales on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange? Kenny Ajaga is with us via telephone this morning. Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, Tomisin. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, it's rather unfortunate that developed countries are taking action against Nigeria in respect to an health issue, which is expected anyway. But that notwithstanding, Nigerian market has not reacted to all these issues, and that tells you that Nigeria market is a destination for investors, in spite of all the hullabaloo that is around the economy. That shows also that investors are keen in investing in Nigeria, particularly when they know that they have a good return on their investment investing in Nigeria. The policy, the rules notwithstanding, those who are ready to make quick money are investing in Nigeria, because when you invest in the capital market, you can quickly make good return based on information that you have in your hand.
Okay.
With the volume of shares that you want to buy, you will recall that in recent times, since October, between October and now, the shares of First Bank have been on the upward swing. That is, they've been trading more volume in the shares of First Bank. And that shows that there are so many people that are interested in holding on to that stock in First Bank. And also, just recently, I spoke with the managing director and chief executive officer of eTransact to know why is their shares, the price of their shares down, and they are making trillions of naira in terms of return. And what is said to are not releasing it, meaning that they believe more in the company, and so they are not ready to release their shares for trading. And when that happens, of course, we expect that the price will move up. But yes, the price is not up. I'm sure after some information that will be coming out from them, they have done a right issue, and they are like industry, which means that this industry is the industry that can make or mar the Nigerian economic space. Well, what happened or what came out of the recently concluded Capital Market Correspondent Association of Nigerian workshop shows that there are not financially included in the scheme of things in Nigeria. And so for them to be included, operators, regulators, and participants in the market believe that there must be an adoption of a simple technology that will show that they also are important in the scheme of things. And so the technocrats in the technology industry have said that there's a need for any company operating in Nigeria to simplify means of doing transaction with them, particularly the banks. They believe that the banks must adopt a kind of technology that will attract more savers, more investors, and more participants in the economic space. In another day, we'll be looking at other issues that were raised from the capital markets and what the regulators are saying about what they feel is going on in the market as we speak. But what we can say is that the market is available and is what investors are looking at to quickly take advantage of the performance of companies. Some of the companies listed on the floor to take position in their shares. So when you see some shares demand and the volume available is not enough, it means their price will go up. And some also, there are some also who are selling because they have made some gain and they are still only holding on to the initial capital they invested, and so they are selling part of what they have made so that they can have more gain in terms of price appreciation, in terms of dividends, in terms of bonus that may have accrued before now. But let's quickly look at what the figure says yesterday. Yesterday, investors exchanged a total of 649.7 million shares valued at 7.2 billion naira, exchanged in 3,757 deals, largely driven by activities in the shares of FBN Holdings PLC, Sterling Bank PLC, GT Bank PLC, and United Bank for Africa PLC. For FBN Holdings PLC, investors take 441.93 million shares worth 5 billion naira, done in 224 deals at a market closing price of 11 naira 40 kobo per share. Sterling Bank with 64.43 million shares traded worth 95.94 million naira, done in 69 transactions at a market closing price of 1 naira 49 kobo per share. GT Bank showing 20.67 million shares worth 501.36 million naira, exchanged in 345 deals at a market closing price of 24 naira 30 kobo. While United Bank for Africa PLC with 14.73 million shares valued at 115.95 million naira, exchanged in 194 deals at a market closing price of 7 naira 95 kobo per share. The lowest trade stock in the market yesterday was that of Better Glass PLC, with just 2 units of its shares being traded, valued at 96 naira. This was done in one transaction at a market closing price of 52 naira 95 kobo per share. The market recorded 20 gainers as against 11 losers. The gainers was led by Seplat PLC with a price gain of 15 naira 10 kobo, closing at 620 naira 10 kobo. MTN PLC went up by 7 naira 50 kobo to close at 174 naira 50 kobo. Dangote Sugar PLC was up by 1 naira to close at 16 naira. Waco PLC appreciated by 50 kobo to close at 23 naira 90 kobo. From the losers table, we have Kuchis PLC topping the table with a price depreciation of 28 kobo to close at 2 naira 61 kobo. FBN PLC lost 10 kobo to close at 11 naira 40 kobo. NACO PLC was down by 9 kobo to close at 3 naira 50 kobo. And Royal Exchange PLC lost 5 kobo, closing at 57 kobo. And of course, this performance in the market shows from the market capitalization and the index. And so the market capitalization of listed equities on the floor of the Nigerian exchange yesterday went up by 217.19 billion naira as the market cap closed at 22.14 trillion naira as against the previous day's closing figure of 21.92 trillion naira. And the index went up from 42,018.92 basis points to 42,435.16 basis point, an appreciation of 0.99% gain or 416.24 basis points appreciation. And of course, from the money market end also, we have that the exchange rate continue to go down in spite of what is happening in the system. Of course, the economy, the money market end shows that from the interbank foreign exchange demand, when the naira is pegged, the dollar is put at the interbank exchange remain at 415.07 kobo. That is at exchange of 415 naira 7 kobo. And of course, the demand for it from those who are demanding from the official market rate stood at 404 naira, between 404 naira and 463 naira 10 kobo
okay,
to the dollar.
All right.
So this shows that there is a lot of demand in the marketplace, but the availability is not there. And of course, the parallel market is showing that the exchange rate is going up, and we needed to do that. Is the regulator, Central Bank of Nigeria, in spite of what they are doing, they still need to do more to curtail these excesses of the parallel market. Over to you. Tomorrow is likely going to be another day when we look at the development in the capital market and how investors can make quick gain looking at this Yuletide period. Over to you, Tomisin.
Thank you so much, Kenny.
You're welcome.
All right, just as we begin to close on the conversations this morning, I really want us to look at what makes you a parent. We went on the streets of Lagos and had to ask questions from people. What makes you a parent? And here is what some of the parents have to say. Does having a child make you a parent? We'll be back after the Vox Pop.
One of the things that makes somebody a good parent, that number one, you must be married, responsibly married to a man. Then you must have good virtues and good character, because you can't give out what you don't have. So if you have a good character and you are good virtues, you'll be able to impact your children positively. And when those children grows up, they become better citizens in our society. So these are the things that makes one a good parent.
What makes me a parent is that as a parent, you must be able to take care of your home and take care of your family. Even particularly as a man, there must be a responsibility you need to carry out in the house, providing for the family, taking good care of the family. That makes a man to be a responsible parent.
Well, I think what makes one a parent is the ability to understand the needs of the children, and as well as meeting the needs of the children. That's my opinion.
What makes me a parent is to give birth to them, to take care of them.
Okay.
Monitor their movement, care for them, be there for them. At least you need to observe.
Observing them as well.
Yeah. Maybe like now, when your child is sit quiet, that maybe each one of them, they are moving.
It's quiet.
We know that this one is not happy or this one is something wrong.
Parenting is about responsibility. Parenting is about knowing that you are able to bring a child into this world. It might not even be your own child, but being able to put the child in the way that the child should go. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. People are leaving responsibilities for other people, for maids, for teachers, you know, and so on. Parents are just going about chasing money. But it's not about that. It's about building up a balanced child, morally balanced, socially balanced, emotionally balanced, and then making sure that the child grows up in the right environment, showing a lot of love to that child to make sure that the child grows up to be a complete human being. And then a complete human being would also help the society. We have a lot of broken children, broken homes, and all that. It could be as a result of parents generally are not doing what they need to do, especially for the boy child. You give a lot of things to chance. You need to train up your child in the way you should go.
There are many things that makes me parents over my children because I do take care of them. I don't allow them to just go anyhow without not report to me. That is why I'm a good parent to my children.
Your ability to take care of your children, spiritually, physically, morally, all aspects, as far as necessary, because the Bible says that a man that cannot take care of his children, the Bible says that is an infidel. So you must take care of your children. That is the reason why you must be able to ensure that if it is only one you can take care of, you have it. If it is two, and as far as it's not the money that you have that will allow you to take care of your children. You may have millions of naira, you may not be able to take care of your children. So, you know, these days, parents, they only care for their children, they don't take care of them. You know the difference between caring for your children and you are not training them. Yes. I can pay your school fee to go to America to go and school, but I will not train you. You know it's possible. You don't have the moral training, so that is why it is possible. Now you see the decadence we are seeing in society today because parents have failed. They throw everything to the school. Schools can what? How many hours do you spend in school? Some of us we went to school and we know how the school is. You have different character in school. But if you don't have that moral training right from your beginning, that you have lost it.
We're back here and we're talking about what makes you a parent. I still have two parents right here in the studio with me, but just before we begin to talk about it, don't forget, it's still our 60 seconds of fame is still very much there. So all you need to do, take a selfie of yourself watching the show. Make sure your TV shows in the picture, meaning stand in front of your TV and take a picture, a selfie picture showing, or do a 30-second video showing that you're watching the show. So I must show in your picture. That's what it means. And then you send that to us and you get to win something come the week before Christmas. Now, you see, the interesting part about it, everyone that watches the Bumper Breakfast gets to get something, as in you get something. But you get to win something extra if you give me a picture, because then I may just pay you a special visit in your house, as in I'm really in the mood to pay you a special visit in your house, come over and give you your gift personally. So yes, we get to do all of that, but do me a favor, just make sure you send those pictures in. So those are some of the pictures from yesterday that unfortunately we couldn't use. Let's keep the pictures coming. Take a selfie of yourself watching the Bumper Breakfast and show that you are a fan of the Bumper Breakfast, and you get to see yourself on television. And as we're doing this, you also get to contribute. Does having kids make you a parent? 080-6473-8133 is the number to call. 080-6473-8133 is the number to call. Our 60 seconds of fame very much taking place right now. All you need to do, take a selfie, send to us, and we will celebrate you on the Bumper Breakfast. 080-6473-8133 is the number to send the pictures to. You put that on WhatsApp and we put it on the screen for the world to see you are a fan of the Bumper Breakfast. Or you can call in right now and participate in the conversation. Jonathan, you are a school owner.
Yes.
And you've seen all kinds of parents.
Of course.
Some who, I even heard that some schools are running crèche for babies.
Yes.
Not crèche, sorry, boarding house for babies.
Boarding house for babies?
Yes. Boarding house for babies. And it was quite shocking to me. I felt like, are we still in Nigeria? you know. But you see all kinds of parents on a day-to-day because you run a school. Well, talk to me. What exactly make you a parent? Having children or parenting the child?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say most parents, most Nigerian parents nowadays are reneging from their responsibilities. Most of them use, at times, what we normally see in the education sector really baffles us. You see parents who don't even have time to know what is happening in the school their children attend. You see parents who don't even take time to find out how their children prepare before coming to school. You see parents who don't even have time to ensure that their children are given that parental bonding at home that will make them to have a good relationship with their parents. What am I trying to say here is we see all manners of parents. The question, having children does not make one any parent. You are just a bearer of a child. You are not a parent. If you are not parenting, and parenting is all encompassing, bringing the child out into the world does not make you a parent until you are able to take care of those children that God has given to you, to take responsibilities as parents, to oversee the growth and development of those children from time to time, to see their welfare, to see their academic needs, to see their health needs, and all other things that the child will need from time to time to develop. But in most cases, you see, because of our quest for materialism, most parents now renege from their responsibilities. They don't even care to do what is happening at home. They don't even have time for the children. In the morning, they will jump out as early as 4 a.m., come back in the midnight, and they call themselves parents. So it's really disheartening. It's really saddening that such is happening in the modern time. And you see most parents, because of the availability of crèche, because of availability of helpers, because of availabilities of all these daycares, they shift their responsibilities to a third party. There is no way somebody who is not a parent of a child can give 100% parenting of that child. Though I know we have what we call in education, we say teachers serve as parents as well. Yes, they serve as parents, but the kind of parenting they will give to those children is not one, it's not two, it's not three. They cannot be able to give 100% attention to those children. So parents, I will admonish, please, you need to go back to the drawing board and know that bringing out a child into the world does not make you a parent until you are able to take care of those children, until you are able to take responsibility to see that that child is given adequate care and guidance for proper development and integration into the society.
Now, you want to call to participate in this conversation, you have a few minutes to do so, but all you need to do is, first of all, turn down the volume of your TV set, and then you call us on the number on your screen, 08064738133. But try as hard as possible not to put on your TV before you call us. Hello, good morning. All right, while we're waiting for that person to connect, Mr. Fatunke, we deal with all kinds of parents in today's society, and Jonathan, having dealt with them in the four walls of the school, said this. What do you really think about this idea of I'm in Sokoto and my 10-year-old is in Kafangsha? What do you think about that idea as a parent?
Yes, maybe at one point in time when we were in school, that was fit for purpose. It's worsened now. We have increased in terms of population. We have also increased in terms of what Jonathan will describe as not being responsible human beings. A boy meets a girl, a man meets a woman.
Older thoughts, Mr. Fatunke. Hello, good morning. All right, please go ahead.
Meets a woman, and then a baby comes, that baby is either dumped somewhere, see what we have in IDP camps, see what we have in terms of out of school children. And so his point, like we say in technology, is if you garbage in, you naturally will get garbage out. And you cannot, for the life of me, delegate parental responsibilities. We've seen it. We've seen controlled experiments, like he tried to say. Yes, we have all the money, and so you are in Lagos and you put your child in the Shigana or even...
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, sorry, good morning. I just want to find out, do we send the selfie to the WhatsApp number on the...
Yes, please, go ahead to the WhatsApp number.
Okay.
Yes, and then you now then believe because of, like he says, which is reality, 4 a.m., go, and then you are not even paid your 30,000 naira per month, minimum wage, rat race.
Hello, good morning. All right.
Sorry. So what then do you expect? And so, my prescription, even if organizations want to put on crutch, it's not just a sepulchre that you just want to put in there. Parents must be, there has to be proper interaction. You saw the CEO of Pepsi, or the Coca-Cola, the other time, and some other persons in South Africa. And they are CEOs, and yet they back their children at the back. Are we prepared to do that? Delegators, non-potest delegare. You can delegate, but you cannot, at the end of the day, delegate responsibility. That responsibility is yours. Those children that you put out there into the vagaries of the environment, of an environment that is not properly governed. 4-year-olds are being kidnapped. You have to go and pay ransom. Many of them have taken up to drugs. You know what I'm talking about, and the yahoos. And then the right example is still not being given. At the end of the day, yours sincerely is in full alignment. It's in full alignment with the prescription made by retired general, former President Obasanjo, that we need to have real population control. And whilst we are that, people who know their onions, like Mr. Jonathan Nwoke, there are quite a number of people who know their onions. There are X and there are X. The Dowen College thing is just also an example. Teachers were not aware that fagging was going on. You parents were not aware that fagging was going on. At the end of the day,
school where you put your child, let me not use the word dumb.
And at the end of the day, you have what you describe as irreversible losses that is going to be with you for life.
For life.
You almost come alive into those responsibility of us.
All right, I need to say thank you to our guests at this point. I need to say thank you, first of all, to Mr. Jonathan Nwoke for being here this morning with us on the Bumper Breakfast. And
it's
of course,
Mr.
Fatunke, I also want to say thank you to you, first of all, for honoring a dear aunt, a dear big sis, a dear mama.